Buenos días, raza. ¿Cómo amanecieron? Miren lo que me encontré en la Dollar Tree. Mi cabello no quiere cooperar. Good morning, everybody. My hair doesn't want to cooperate, but look what I found at the Dollar Tree. And it's not for that. It's actually for a Halloween prop. But, hey, I needed an assistant to scratch my back. And since I live by myself, this is a pretty good scratch. A scratch your back tool. I hope your day started with a nice cup of coffee and a donut on the side. It's Monday. It's the beginning of the work week. I'm glad I'm not working right now. But it's a beautiful day in the south of Texas. Es un día hermoso en el sur de Texas. Es el principio de la semana. Hay que empezar la semana positivamente, pensando positivo todo el tiempo. We gotta think positive all the time. No le hace que tantos haters tenganos. It doesn't matter how many haters you have out there. Ignore them as much as you can and keep moving forward. It's a beautiful, beautiful day in South Texas. I pray for everybody that's going to be in the path of this other hurricane that's coming. I really hope that you evacuate when they tell you to. All these hurricanes bring back lots of memories. Ike was probably one of the worst hurricanes that my family has had to deal with, and mainly because I was 6 hours away from the Houston area where my daughter is at. And my daughter is very book smart, but she's a procrastinator at times. And during Ike, she had a lot of stuff to deal with. She had 2 puppies and elderly grandparents that she had to deal with before evacuating and coming towards the south of Texas. From Houston to the south of Texas is 5.5 hours. Well, since she procrastinated and waited till the last minute to evacuate, everybody was waiting till the last minute to evacuate. So it was a 5.5 hour trip turned out to be almost 23 hours because she was dealing with a bunch of traffic on the freeways, evacuating the area, and a lot of stops because she did have elderly traveling with her in her vehicle. And then they had to deal with what usually happens during storms like this. And a lot of people don't realize the price gouging that does exist during a storm, especially when you're not prepared. You know, if you're prepared to stay put and you think that your house can handle 150 plus mile winds on a Hurricane 4, then stay. But if your house cannot handle that windstorm and rainstorm, then as soon as the city tells you to evacuate and starts telling you, if you don't, we're not responsible, then, you know, don't blame anybody. Don't blame the government. Don't blame anybody. Because our technology has advanced so much that they know the path of this hurricane from the very beginning when it starts to form, and they start setting a path for it because they know how the atmosphere is working and moving this storm forward, because it's not going to move it back. Andrew moved forward and then it moved back for some reason. And Florida went through a lot with Andrew because it hit twice. It went past Florida, then it came back and hit them again. So, you know, technology has changed a lot in the past 40 years for these type of windstorms and hurricanes and tsunamis, to where they tell you exactly where it's going to hit, and they're not very far off, you know. So when that town or that city starts saying evacuate, you need to evacuate. And I realize that some people financially cannot evacuate. Some people don't have a family member that lives farther up in the state or out of state close enough to where they could evacuate and move over there for a few days. Some people don't have the financial means to evacuate. At that point, the city has shelters in place. If you're going to go through a big hurricane, they have shelters in place. Look for one. Don't stay in your house. Please listen to the advisories that they're giving you. Technology has changed. Right now, they are saying exactly where this other storm is going to hit Florida. They're even saying which town is going to get hit by the eye of the storm. They're already saying it almost 5 to 6 days in advance. It's going to hit through this path. It's going to go through these towns. So you need to evacuate, or you need to find a shelter in place in the next little town that's up somewhere around there. They will have shelters for residents to go to, but you do need to pay attention. Don't be brave. It's better for somebody to say, hey, here ran a chicken, than here died a rooster. You know, it's like, no, they're telling you in advance. So don't blame the government. I mean, I don't blame the government for a 5.5 hour trip that took 23. And thank God that my daughter got here to my house with her grandparents, who are my ex-husband's parents, safely. But when you wait till the last minute, you're going to have to deal with a whole lot of other stuff besides just a storm. You're dealing with other procrastinators that are on the road trying to get away from this storm because of their job making them wait till the last minute, them dealing with issues at home, pets and stuff that they don't want to leave behind, family members that might be in a situation where they can't move by themselves and they have to go and pick them up and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you deal with during a storm that you don't deal with on a daily basis. You know, a lot of us have family members that are older that live by themselves, but we don't deal with them every day. We deal with our job most of the time that tells us, you know, well, you're part of the skeleton crew, or you're part of this and that, or you're not part of the skeleton crew because you're responsible for children. And that's about the only time that these jobs will tell you you're not part of the skeleton crew, because you have to be responsible for your children and move them out. But they don't take into consideration that you might be responsible for elderly parents, you know. And it's like, sometimes even government entities tell you that, you know, grandparents are not immediate family, you know, and that's when it's screwed up. But, you know, just be very careful. We are praying for Florida. We know that it's going to hit Florida again. But just be very careful and do evacuate. Y'all take care of yourselves.